cardio done, 400 calories. If you've not listened to this before, the CT Fletcher Joe Rogan experience, highly recommend. Help me get through the last 30 minutes. So welcome back to another YouTube video, guys. Cardio is just finished. Currently doing 4 lots of 400 calories a week. Macros 225 grams of protein, 250 grams of carbs and 40 grams of fat. That's both on training and non-training days. So far so good in terms of this cut. Energy levels are still there. I found a really nice routine for myself where I'm kind of fasting a little bit in the morning. My first meal is about 8 o'clock. Try and get a lot of my steps in first thing in the morning. Cardio, I try and do seconds and then training later on the day before clients in the evening. For me, this is absolutely perfect. I have roughly about 6 meals a day. I try and push my carbs back to sort of the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th meals. The best thing that I suggest in terms of cutting is find out exactly what works for you guys, because what works for me might not work for somebody else. You've got to find out what works for your lifestyle. You need to kind of trial and error a little bit, go with the flow, and then basically like tweak things here and there that suits you best. There will be times where it's very, very challenging. There'll be times where it's hard, and times where you don't want to do cardio or you're feeling a little bit more hungry. That's natural, that's going to happen. But just look at your work and your social life, see exactly what works for you, and then go over there. Before I go in the shower and then have my pre-workout, I'm just going to show you guys where my physique's at the moment. Roughly about 88.5 kilos as of this morning. I weighed 96 kilos, I think about 6 or 7 weeks ago, so just over a kilo a week, 8 kilo drop in total. I reckon I'll be happy with somewhere around 85 kilos, 7 weeks to go into my holiday, so a lot more time to keep digging. Okay, cool. So post shower, Tesco order has just come. I want to show you guys some of the things that I've been having into this cutting phase, into the shredding phase, sorry. And some of the foods that I'm going to have on a day-to-day basis. This isn't everything because I've got some things already. I'm going to go through and basically go through my sources and kind of why I have them. I basically have the same things pretty much every day for a few reasons. One, simplicity. It's quite easy, especially MyFitnessPal. If you're kind of tracking what you're eating, you can literally just copy and paste it into the following day. Little things I will change up, and it just makes it quite simple for me. Also, I know that all these foods work for me, so all these different food choices, I know they fill me up, I know they're tasty, I know they don't bloat me out too much, and it just works for myself. So I know if I suddenly change everything and start having this or that, and it doesn't quite like kind of fit right in my stomach or myself, I just don't want to go for the hassle of trying to work out what it is, so I just like to keep it quite basic. So first and foremost, I'm going to go through the drinks that I'm currently having. So always have about 2 or 3 of these a day. Quite bad, I know, caffeine wise, but this is going to be the Tesco Gold coffee. Game changer. I'm still on the instant. I'm not on the like using a kind of coffee machine as like everybody else does, but Tesco Gold for myself, rich and smooth, very nice, $2.99 for those. Always have one first thing in the morning. 0 calorie drinks, what I'm going for at the moment, and I've recently tried these. This is the Orange Zero from Tesco. This is 99p for 4 cans, so like 25p a can. This is a new one. This tastes very, very nice. I thought it was going to taste a bit crap, not gonna lie, but very nice. And then obviously the basic one, this is the Coke Zero. Again, sort of like what, an 8-pack. Tidy. Carly likes the Vanta's fruit twist, but I prefer the Coke for myself. In terms of protein sources, this varies throughout the day. Normally I'd have whey, tuna as well. I also have just a chicken breast. I normally have 2 of these a week. This is the 950 grams chicken breast fillets, 550 from Tesco's, so that's going to be one of my protein sources. I also will be having Sky Greek yogurt every single morning. Sometimes I'll have this in the evening. 3 for £3, very simple, just a natural one. You can also get this like honey and strawberry. And I'm also starting to have, these are only like 99 calories. This is the Muller Light. So this one I get like vanilla. I also get strawberry. I think I get the vanilla dark chocolate one as well, and I've also got a new one to try. I've had the carrot cake, I've had the creamy toffee, but I've gone for banana and custard. So big fan of bananas, not so much custard. We'll see what this is saying. But yeah, 99 calories in the evening, very nice treat. So that's basically my protein sources done. So I have whey, tuna, chicken, also have some eggs as well, and yeah, and then yogurt as well. Everything like oats and bagels, they have protein in as well, so I get trace protein from there, and that's basically it. And I also have some vegetarian sausages as well. I don't eat beef anymore, so yeah, that's my protein. Carbohydrate wise, I'm on a lot less carbs than what I've been used to, as you've probably seen from my former pre and post workout meals, where I have like serene, rice pudding, loads of cereal, bagels. That seems like a long time ago, but I'm going to show you my carbs that I'm having at the moment. I'm still having my cereal. Cocoa Snaps are the one. Have these rather than Cocoa Pops, just because they got more sugar in. Post workout, fantastic. You want foods that are slightly higher in GI carbs, so that's why I go for those rather than Cocoa Snaps. Also, absolutely love a rice cake. I'm obsessed, and this has all come from a weird like, I've always liked rice cakes, different flavours. For some reason, when I competed last year and I had rice cakes, and I was so hungry on the show day, and all I was just eating was rice cakes, and I've somehow got this weird craving for them now all the time. Whenever I'm cutting or I'm bulking, I just enjoy them. Very random, because a lot of people will be like, it tastes like cardboard, proper stale, but for me, don't mind them too much. So that's one lot of carbs. Sorry, I'll stop talking about rice cakes now. Also have pre-workout Scottish porridge oats. These are the ones that I've had for years and years. Best flavour in my opinion. The ones that they're just like kind of quite creamy and quite thick. Also, I normally have bagel thins, but they weren't on offer, but bagels were. So these are New York bagels, £1 for these. I'm just going to cut them in half, so I kind of have half a day. Bananas, don't have bananas all the time, just because I prefer to save my carbs for elsewhere. Like I said, I got 250 grams throughout the day. I just want to kind of save them, so bananas as well. In the morning with my yogurt, mixed fruit. So with these, I either have these or I have them with the blueberries. 125 grams in the morning, so that's another carbohydrate. I also have sweet potatoes. Don't always have these, because my pre and post workout is normally the majority of my carbohydrates. Might be able to fit a sweet potato in the evening. Sweet potato, or I'll have pasta or a little bit of rice. Also, veg wise, because obviously that's carbohydrates as well, and fibre, I'm going to go for the carrots. I also have broccoli, and finally green beans as well. So they're my veg choices. So broccoli, carrots, green beans, spinach as well, and then fruits. I mainly go for like frozen fruit, just because it's a bit more convenient. So I'll go for the frozen fruit. Just get mixed fruits, blueberries, bananas as well on occasions. So I think that's pretty much it for all the food that I've covered. Two last things, Airwaves gum, absolute game changer. As a personal trainer myself, very key to have a minty breath. You don't want your breath smelling when you're around people all the time. So firstly, that's a massive key. Also, it helps for me. I know there's loads of different studies out there that the chewing makes you, it kind of contradicts itself. There's studies for both. So sometimes people will say, like, if you're chewing gum, it's going to make you more hungry. Some people think it takes that sort of craving away. I'm a big fan of chewing gum. Last but not least, I normally have this in the evening. I told myself for this cut, because I'm not prepping, I'm going to be having food that is perhaps not what I would have in a prep, just because there would be better food choices out there. But in the evening, I'm normally having a little bit of ice cream, so that would either be Halo Top. I also have something called Frank's Diabetic Ice Cream, or just some random like ice cream, Mars ice cream. And then also I have brewers as well. So normally I have kind of like 100 grams of that. That's a little bit my fats. If I was prepping, would I have that? Potentially, yes, I would do. I would have a little bit of that to help cure that craving. But as a whole, potentially not as much as I'm having at the moment. So that's all the food that I have purchased today. Any questions in regards to nutrition, drop me a message, and I'll get back to you straight away. Through today's back workout, I'm going to take you through the movements, why I do them, and basically how to execute them properly. Starting off with the low row, as you see here, I'm retracting the scapula backwards. This, I get a much better contraction with the correct body part of the lat that I want to be working. If not, I feel like I'm just kind of like shrugging it upwards. This one, because it's a low row as well, you're going from low up to high, and I'm just going to basically be shrugging it upwards. So that's why I do that. Make sure you fully extend at the bottom as well. This is a fantastic movement. Always start with this, chest supported. The next movement I'm going into is the hammer pull down. Very, very similar in terms to the last one. Retracting that scapula backwards. You don't want to be shanking it. You don't want to bring too much shoulder involved at all. And just that slight pause, kind of take your ego out of it, because this is going to develop the muscle a lot better than if you just basically like shank at it. You see all the people that just do it really fast. Just take it slow and big squeeze the bottom. Next, we have a wide lat pull down. For this movement, I prefer doing it like this in the pronated grip, purely again for the contraction of your lats. So I put a lot of emphasis into my training now of thinking about what am I actually working and can I feel it. Yes, load is very, very important. Progressively overloading is very important. But for me, I've got to be feeling the muscle. So even if that means I take it back a little bit, but then if I'm feeling it more, for me that's more of a success. So chest up, again retract, and then pull down with the elbows. Next movement, we have seated row with the handles. Been doing this movement about 6 or 7 weeks. Again, I find with just a normal seated row with just a normal attachment, the ones that's kind of like a V, I find with that one, again, a bit like the low row, I'm just shrugging at it. Retract, big pull. I love doing it with the handles. Can feel exactly where I want to. So definitely would highly recommend this movement. Onto shrugs. I prefer doing these with dumbbells and the barbell, purely because I feel I have a lot more control. I perhaps can't load it up as much. Elbows slightly bent, trying to squeeze all the way at the top. Make sure you fully extend. Slight pause at the top, slight pause at the bottom, ensuring the traps are getting fully worked. Finally, with the seated curls, I always do my curls either against the support or seated down, because you know that there's going to be no momentum. Yes, you can, get a bit of momentum involved, and especially because it's going to be the last couple of movements, I will kind of not necessarily do cheat reps, but towards the end you can kind of let it go a little bit. But for me, seat curls, absolutely fantastic. No momentum, chest up, fully extended at the bottom, and that is some of the highlights of today's session. So back into the video we go. So post-pull workout, another session in the bag. Again, one that if you prioritise your pre and post workout, especially your pre-workout, get enough food in you and your carbohydrates, it's going to fuel you for the workout, and obviously you're going to feel very, very good, and hopefully you're going to maintain your lifts post-workout in terms of recovery. So a question I get asked a lot is, what's the best form of cardio to do? Hiit versus Liss, very, very basic, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. Firstly, I just want to make it clear that any kind of cardio you do is going to be beneficial to yourself. The most important part is that you can enjoy it. If you're able to enjoy any kind of form of cardio, then you're going to be doing more regularly. In terms of what cardio you're going to be doing, say for example you've got a male that's about 100 kilos and he's looking to drop roughly about 10 kilos. So what you're going to do cardio wise, are you going to go balls to the wall? Are you going to do like an hour cardio session, 3 times a week, and get your results that way? Personally, I think this is going to be too detrimental to your physique. If you want to retain your muscle, I would much prefer to do it slow and steady. I perhaps wouldn't look at going down the high intensity interval training route, purely because this is going to be perhaps detrimental to your gym performance. It's going to perhaps tire you out a little bit more than if you do Liss, for example. So low intensity, steady state training. When you're losing weight, you're basically dropping fat. But when you're losing a large quantity of weight, so for example, if you're trying to go from 100 kilos to 90 kilos, some muscle tissue will be lost. To minimize this muscle tissue being lost, I personally would prefer a much slower type of cardio, so you can slowly increase it over time. So for example, I prefer Liss, so I would start doing either like incline walking or the Stairmaster, the cross trainer, something like that to begin with. Say for example you start on your first week, I would look at doing anywhere between sort of 200 and 250 calories, 2, 3, 4 times a week. I'd slowly increase it up to anywhere, 400, 500 calories per session. This has the potential to be more beneficial to yourself, purely because if you've never kind of done any kind of cardio before or have entered a fat loss phase, cardio is going to be a bit of a shock to yourself. Your heart rate is going to be elevated. You're going to be on the, say for example, Stairmaster for about 20 minutes. It's going to be completely different to what you used to. Then what happens is your body would basically get used to this cardio. Your body basically will adapt to it, and then you can increase it week on week. There'll be times where you're going to plateau. This will be normal, perhaps even weight or in terms of just how you're feeling for cardio, but you're just going to have to kind of push past that boundary and extend it even further. Again, this is all from my personal opinion, previous experience of myself, what I've learned from coaches, what I apply to my clients, and it works. So that's personally what I feel. I'd much rather do Liss than Hiit. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.